There's a word you use every day that quietly destroys your future without you noticing. It sounds harmless, even hopeful, like a promise you're making to yourself with good intentions. But it's the hidden reason you're still stuck exactly where you are right now. The word is someday, and it's killing your dreams one delay at a time. Someday, I'll start that project I've been thinking about for months now. Someday, I'll call them back and finally have that difficult conversation I've been avoiding. Someday, I'll change my habits and become the person I want to be. But someday never comes, no matter how many times you tell yourself it will. This is the story of a man who learned that painful lesson too late. His name was Aaron, and he seemed like an ordinary guy on the surface. He was 34 years old, worked in IT support, and lived alone in a small apartment. Aaron wasn't a bad person by any measure you could think of or judge him by. But he had one quiet habit that was slowly erasing the life he truly wanted. He postponed everything that mattered, pushing it further into an imaginary future that never arrived. Not the urgent things like work deadlines or bills that demanded immediate attention from him, but the meaningful things like conversations, promises, and dreams. He pushed them all to someday. His younger sister, Claire, called him every Sunday afternoon without fail for over a year. She lived 2 hours away with her husband and a 7-year-old daughter named Sophie. Aaron loved them deeply and genuinely wanted to see them, but he never made the time. Every time Claire asked him to visit, he said the same thing without really thinking. "Soon, I promise. I'll come visit when things calm down a bit at work." Months turned into a year, and the pattern continued without him noticing the growing distance. Claire stopped asking eventually, accepting his absence as just the way things were now between them. At work, Aaron's manager offered him a chance to lead a new important project. It was exactly the kind of opportunity he'd been waiting for all these years. But it required evening training sessions for 6 weeks, cutting into his personal free time. Aaron hesitated, feeling the weight of commitment pressing down on his comfortable daily routine. He said he'd think about it and give an answer by the end of the week. A week later, the offer went to someone else who didn't hesitate to say yes. Aaron felt the sting deep inside, but he buried it quickly beneath other distractions. Then, one Thursday morning, Aaron received a short text message from Claire that changed everything. "Sophie's been asking about you constantly and wondering when you'll visit again, Uncle Aaron. She made you a drawing with crayons and keeps asking when she can give it to you." Aaron read it during his lunch break while sitting alone in the office break room. He felt a small warmth in his chest, a genuine flicker of love and longing. But he also felt the weight of the weekend ahead, the errands and rest he wanted. He typed back quickly, "This weekend's tough, but soon though, I promise, we'll set something up." 2 months later, Aaron got a phone call at 6 a.m. that shattered his world. It was Claire's husband, and his voice was shaking in a way Aaron had never heard. Claire had been in a serious car accident late the night before on her way home. She was in the hospital, stable for now, but she'd been asking for Aaron repeatedly. Aaron's heart stopped, and the world around him seemed to freeze in place instantly. He threw on clothes, grabbed his keys, and drove as fast as he could. The whole way, his hands trembled as guilt and regret overwhelmed him completely and painfully. When he arrived, Claire was asleep, breathing softly under white hospital sheets in the quiet room. Her husband sat beside her bed, exhausted and hollow-eyed, too tired to speak much. He looked up at Aaron and said nothing, just nodded slowly with understanding. Aaron sat in the corner, feeling smaller than he'd ever felt in his entire life. When Claire woke up, she smiled weakly. "You came," she whispered, her voice hoarse. Aaron's throat tightened. "I'm sorry, I should have come sooner. Been there all along." She didn't argue or show anger, didn't scold him or express disappointment in her eyes. She just closed her eyes again, already accepting his absence as who he was now. For days, Aaron couldn't focus as he replayed every missed call and delayed visit endlessly. He realized he hadn't been busy. He'd been avoiding discomfort, effort, and vulnerability all along. And in doing so, he'd become invisible to the people he loved most in the world. One evening, Aaron went for a walk and ended up at a cafe he used to visit. Inside, he saw an older man named Martin sitting alone by the window, calm and reading. On impulse, Aaron sat nearby, feeling drawn to his presence for reasons he couldn't explain. Martin looked up and smiled. "You look like someone carrying a heavy question," he said softly. Aaron spoke quietly. "I keep putting things off, and I don't know how to stop anymore." Martin nodded. "Someday is a thief that doesn't steal your time all at once dramatically. It takes it one day at a time, so quietly you don't notice until gone." Martin leaned forward, his weathered hands folded calmly on the table in front of him. "I used to be like you once, many years ago, when I was younger. I had a daughter, told myself I'd spend more time with her someday after work." His voice softened. "She died at 16, and I never got my someday back ever." Martin continued, "You don't need a perfect plan, just one simple rule you follow always. If it matters, do it within 48 hours, no exceptions or negotiations with yourself." Aaron stared. "That's it? Nothing more complicated than that simple rule for changing everything?" Martin smiled gently. "That's it. Won't fix everything, but it will stop the drift completely." Aaron left with Martin's words circling his mind like birds seeking a landing place. The next morning, he texted Claire, "I'm coming Saturday. I'll be there at noon." She replied quickly, "She'll be so happy. She talks about you all the time." Aaron felt something shift inside, small but real, like a door opening slightly. Over 2 weeks, Aaron applied the rule strictly to everything that came up in life. A coworker asked for help. Aaron said yes immediately and scheduled time that evening. His manager mentioned training. Aaron signed up within the hour without hesitation or doubt. An old friend messaged. Aaron called the next day instead of letting it drift away. Each action felt uncomfortable, but also felt like reclaiming something he'd lost before. Then came the real test that would determine if he'd truly changed inside. Sophie's school held a family event Friday afternoon, the same day as his major work project. His old instinct screamed to decline, to say next time and protect his comfort. But he remembered the rule, rearranged his schedule, and cleared his afternoon completely. That Friday, Aaron arrived 10 minutes early, heart beating fast with nervous anticipation. Claire saw him, and her face lit up with genuine surprise and pure joy. Sophie ran over and hugged his leg. "You came!" she shouted with excitement. Aaron knelt down. "I told you I would, and I meant it this time." She handed him the drawing, 3 stick figures, one labeled Uncle Aaron, in shaky letters. After the event, Claire walked him to his car slowly, taking her time. "Thank you for coming. It meant everything to Sophie and to me," she said warmly. Claire smiled with forgiveness. "You're here now, and that's what matters most to me." As Aaron drove home, he felt peace because he kept a promise that truly mattered. A month later, his manager offered a leadership role requiring dedication and consistent growth. This time, Aaron didn't hesitate and said yes, immediately feeling the rightness of it. Someday is not a plan. It's a delay disguised as hope that keeps you trapped. It lets you believe you're in control while your life quietly slips away unnoticed. People you love stop waiting, and opportunities move on to others who said yes. But here's the truth. You don't need more time, you need a decision and action. If it matters, do it now, within 48 hours maximum, with no exceptions. That's the rule that saves lives from the slow death of endless delay and regret. Small actions taken soon become the foundation of everything meaningful that follows after. If this story made you think, comment one thing you've been putting off.